What's up, straight liners? I am out here with the brand new 2021 Polygon Siskiu T7. We got this thing out right now for my first ride review, and I'm excited to share my first ride with you guys and let you know what my first impressions of this budget under $2,000 bike will hold for me. Before we get started, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe so you can support our channel and so we can continue to bring you guys some awesome bikes and some more reviews. And also, if you guys want to get some great deals on some Polygon bikes, the Siskiu models, either the D series, they have the T series, the N series, all from trail to enduro to XC, and then they have some awesome hardtail bikes and kids bikes as well. Check the link below to bikesonline.com. They have a great selection. So let's get after it and let's see how this bike goes and see if I can survive. That's 105 degrees right now, so I don't know if I'm crazy or just motivated, but let's go on this journey together. Climbing up, seeing the tiniest baby deer and mama, that cute little thing. All right, I got most of the climbing done. I'm about to bomb into some downhill. So first impressions on climbing, I will have to say better than I expected. So 36 pounds had me a little bit worried about it being cumbersome and just a heavy, squishy bikes, but surprisingly the bob was pretty minimal. There is still some bob, of course, but I didn't think it was bad. It really added, I think, to the comfort on the climbs. It didn't stiffen up, something like our Ibis, Ripley, or Ripmo did with that DW link, where when you're under pressure it stiffens up. But on the grunts, the really, where you're really pushing to get up those steep rocky sections, it climbed up. It felt deep, pretty efficient. I did have to get over the front a little bit more than some other bikes. It could be the shorter wheelbase or that shorter chainstay, because I did feel the front wanting to come up just a little bit, so you have to lean over a little more, keep that front end down. I could lower the stem. It has all the spacers under it, so that might help. So I'm gonna try and do that. Do feel some of the weight on the climb, those slow rolling tires, and just those heavy wheels, which I think is gonna contribute to most of the heaviest parts of this bike. But I'm about to bomb some downhills and turn those slow rolling grippy tires, and probably gonna rip some dirt out of the trail because those things are grippy, and see how this thing performs with that suspension. So let's take it downhill. All right, let's hit the culvert. Yeah, feels like it's sinking into its travel a little bit more than, say, the Canyon or some of our other suspension designs. And our fork is, ooh, yeah, nice little jump. Ooh, yeah, it has no problem getting a little air. That was nice. Pumping through. Yeah. Oh, through the braking bumps. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I'm just lifting. It's like it lifts up in the air pretty well. Yeah. Ooh. Nice. Man, gets up just fine for being such a porky pig here. I mean, in comparison, some of our carbon bikes, which may not be fair because it's about the same weight as the Ripmo AF we rode. All right, here comes a drop. Boom, yep. Again, as expected, I figured that would handle it well, and it did. Yeah, no problem. Curious to see if I even hit the bottom. I'm running 30% sag. Some steep sections, some chunky, some hairpin turns, a couple punchy climbs. Yeah. Man, it's just crazy. This thing gets up real easy. Ooh. So these trails are part of the California Enduro series, so it's a great testing ground for our bikes, although I am not able to keep up with some of those guys. Ooh, yeah. All right. Ooh. It's nothing like getting smacked in the head while you're trying to descend as fast as you can. All right, so now I got our Culvert trail. That's the smooth berm, jump, fast, flowy trail out of the way, and now into Stonewall, which I just did with the really steep, loose, hard, fast turns. I will say on the Culvert, I didn't have as much confidence or speed that I felt I normally do on some of the other bikes, but that was the first downhill, so I'm gonna give the bike the benefit of the doubt, because when I jumped into Stonewall, I felt a lot more comfortable. So the bike just felt like it was supportive, it was eating up the chunk. Like I said, on the climb, it does feel a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact, so you don't have that long boat feeling, that comfort, that stability you get from something longer. But I felt comfortable hitting the turns. The tires, as expected, I thought they would perform great, gripped really, really well. That extra weight in the wheels does help excel you faster. So when it's straight down, this bike wants to pump and go. So I think it's all that rotational mass you got rolling. The one thing that had me feeling less confident were the brakes. I will say that I didn't have any fade or felt like they weren't able to keep up. It's just that feeling of that lever and just really having to squeeze it. And it's really long and just kind of awkward feeling. So I'm gonna adjust it because I think you can adjust the reach on it. Bring it in a little bit more so I'm not grabbing so far out, but otherwise pretty impressed for the build kit. The bike kept up well, the rear shock performed well. The fork, for being a Recon Silver RL, performed well. I didn't feel it having too much issue. So I'm gonna take it down our Black Diamond chunk nastiness and see how she does. Let's get into some trouble on Rocky. That's where I feel that fork not performing as great, but still surprisingly well for being a budget style bike fork. Woo, woo, find the right line here. Whoa, whoa, yikes, right there, it's popping around a little more. Whew. This bike does have ICG tabs, so if you're riding stuff like this, you might want to get a bash guard. Ooh, oh yeah, I'm liking it. Nice, very impressive. All right, so now I am back from my ride, my climb, and my descent with the Polygon Siskiu T7. And I'll have to say, first impressions is impressive for $2,000. I'm gonna admit I had some reservations about this bike, especially coming off some carbon, just higher end boutique bikes in the $5,000–6,000 range. So for $2,000, this bike did not give up a bunch to those bikes. So on the climbs, I felt like while the heavier weight was noticeable comparing it to those bikes, I still felt like it was capable. It didn't feel like I was dragging a boat anchor, and some of the heavier weight things I think are something that can be addressed with relative inexpensive upgrades if that's something you're into, but feel like this bike is something you can go out and just shred. On the downhills, on the flatter, smoother sections, it didn't feel as snappy as some of the other lighter bikes, but I will say I was impressed by how easily this bike jumped. I felt other bikes like the Ripmo and even the Canyon Spectral 29 jump really well. I felt like this bike, on the first jump, I wasn't really trying to pop in the air. I more lifted my weight up and I just felt the bike kind of suck up under me like it was jumping on its own. So in the next couple jumps, I really was able to see this thing pop pretty well. So that was a surprise. In the corners, maybe a little bit lazier coming out of the corners. It didn't have like that pep coming out when you pedal. In the steep, just fast, steep sections, this thing, it ate up the chunk really well for its travel, the 135, 140. And that extra weight in the wheels and tires, I felt like help it propel down the hill fast. And then in the chunky stuff, I had a blast. I was just having a good time and very surprised. So don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Keep us going, keep us bringing great content, and so you don't miss more info and content on this awesome bike. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at straightline_MTB and straightlinemtb.com. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below and we'll respond as soon as possible. I'll give you some feedback. And again, thank you for joining us, and we'll check you out on the next video.